The Morning Sports Desk, available on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and WadenaRadio.com.
It is the Morning Sports Desk on a Tuesday, the 12th of November. CJ Baumgartner with Corey Tackman. It is the Morning Sports Desk. Corey rejoining the show. We talked with Zeke yesterday, had a whole lot to say about the football games on Thursday night. But you were down in St. Paul for state volleyball. So why don't we talk a little bit just about your journey down there? I know Sabika fell in both of their sets, but still, what was it like getting to go down and cover another state volleyball tournament?
Well, the state volleyball tournament's awesome. I know you've been and had the chance to experience it. Said it before, I'll say it again. If you've never been to state volleyball, you need to go. It's a really great atmosphere. Volleyball fans are one of a kind. Student sections are one of a kind because we've talked about this before, right? It's the boys who are at these games. So it's just a little extra raucous. Plus the volleyball is obviously outstanding. If you get a good spot in the arena, you get to watch two matches at the same time and kind of go back and forth. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful tournament. We had some area teams perform exceptionally well with the Holly Nuggets, your Class 2A state champions, and your Alexandria Cardinals, the 3A state champions. So congratulations to those two programs for what they did this year.
Did you see any of their stuff?
I did. I saw. I didn't get to see Alexandria play at all. I did get to see Holly play their quarterfinal game when they beat St. Croix Lutheran. I didn't think they played like super sharp in that quarterfinal game in particular, but they just turned it on. And obviously, you got to see them a couple times this year. They're nice. That's a really nice volleyball program, as is evidenced by, a state title.
Yeah, it doesn't. When I saw that they won on Saturday, it did not surprise me in the slightest that they came out and did that. They were a good solid team all the way around. Like you said, they maybe aren't the sharpest. They maybe don't have like the blow it by you talent, but they're just good they're sharp in everything. It felt like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have any glaring weakness and they just could outlast you.
Correct. And they played exceptionally well from like the quarterfinals on, which turns out you have to when everybody else is awesome. And then, of course, we were there to cover the Sabika Trojans, who just had an outstanding year. And obviously, as we know by now, came up short with a couple of losses in their quarterfinal and consolation semifinal. Tough draw for the Sabika Trojans, having to take on the top seed in the tournament in Mayor Lutheran. And then the 4-5 matchup. Talking to Coach Pouliou before the state tournament, she said this 4-5 matchup is legit. They are awesome volleyball teams in that West Central area and Kitson County Central. And she actually thought KCC probably could have been ranked and even should have been ranked a little higher than 5th. They're great. And they showed it, obviously, in that consolation semifinal. And I only bring that up to say, obviously, it doesn't make a 2 losses in a state tournament any easier to like deal with. But Sabika's a really good program. They were a really good volleyball team this year and 100% deserved to be in that state tournament and represent Section 5. Of that, I have no doubt. And it was kind of a joy to watch them, right? We got to see them. I think I had them on the regular season schedule maybe 2 or 3 times during the year. And then we covered them from day one of the section tournament and on. They played good volleyball in the entire tournament time. And it's not like they played bad volleyball at the state tournament. They just ran into who they ran into. So a big congratulations to Coach Pouliou and her staff and the entire team on an outstanding season. I had a blast being able to watch and be a part of that. And she was, of course, very accommodating all season long as well for interviews and talking about the team and what they are working up against, or, just tidbits about what's happening behind the scenes. I think it's really cool. I always like working with her, and it was another fun season. So shout out Trojans, awesome year. And I was glad I got to watch some of that this season.
Yeah, you got to get back to the state volleyball tournament, which is always a win. Getting to go down there, getting to be in downtown St. Paul. Corey, what did you kind of do outside of the state tournament? Is there any kind of, when you go to the state volleyball tournament, like I got to go here, I got to hit up this restaurant, I got to stop here, I got to see this. What do you kind of do in the off hours when you're not calling games and watching volleyball?
This year I did nothing.
Oh,
I got there. I would get to the arena early. I watched volleyball, and then I stayed at my folks' place in Waconia.
All right.
So I went there and just kind of like, I had a chance to just chill out and do a whole lot of nothing. And so I chose to do that.
That's fair. Any big concession item at the X that you needed to buy?
No, but I did go to Quick Trip twice.
The Quickery. That's a great play. Don't sleep, by the way, on Quick Trip chocolate milk. It is super good.
You're not telling me to don't sleep on. You know that I know about Quick Trip chocolate milk, right?
Yeah, this is just for the world.
It's the greatest convenience store gas station.
That's the one thing Wisconsin gets. They get one thing that will hand to them. That and the Dells. They get those two things.
That's it. Quick Trip is the best.
Quick Trip is great. When I lived in Duluth, there's a billion of them there because Superior's just right across the bridge.
Yep.
And there's not a lot of places you say buy the fried chicken from the gas station. Like a chain gas station, that is one where you can buy, like, it's not like a Champs. It's not like a brand, like other gas stations do that. That's fine. This is like their in-house. We just fry chicken. It's there. They had a McRib sandwich that was good. I can't tell you how. When I worked at the TV station, me and a camera guy, we'd get done with the story at like 2:30. Our next one's at 4:00. So we have like an hour and a half of downtime.
Yep.
It's like, you want to just go to Quick Trip and let's go get some food and we'll kind of snack in the car.
I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, it's like perfect. We're going on a date, I guess. Like that.
It's so good.
It's so good. Their donuts are great. Their convenience stuff is great. They do a good job. This is, by the way, unpaid. We are not being paid at all, but we wish we were. I will drive to, where's the closest one? St. Cloud. I will drive the 2 hours to St. Cloud just to use a $50 gas card. I will do it if they would send us one our way. So wink,
wink,
nudge, nudge. Quick Trip. Shout out the Quickery. By the way, if you ever go to the cashier and they always say, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
They have to do that. Allegedly, there is somebody who is just watching, like management every once in a while is just supposed to watch them or just kind of pretend to do stuff and listen for if they say, we'll see you next time. It's like Chick-fil-A. They have to end with my pleasure or they get.
I forget where I was, but it was like, was it Burger King? Welcome to Burger King, where you're awesome, or something like that. Welcome to Burger King, where you're great. And I just laughed. I was like, turns out an inappropriate. It caught me off guard. And I was like, thank you.
They pay you you just looked at it like they pay you to say that, huh?
That's embarrassing, isn't it?
Oh man, stop making teenagers do this, companies. Come on, they don't want to.
Can I tell you one of my favorite things to do? Because I think at McDonald's, they're not really allowed to end the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You say something, and then I believe they're required to say anything else.
Right. Just to see if they can push you into one more item.
Well, and not even that, to make sure they don't miss anything.
Uh-huh.
I think that just anything else, and then you're supposed to say, no, that's everything, thanks.
Yep.
Okay. So one of my favorite things to do is to make sure I order one thing at a time, just to hear that person say anything else. Like maybe if I can get like 6 or 7 or 8 times out of the deal, it will make me laugh for the rest of the day. Yeah, can I get 2 cheeseburgers? Anything else? Yeah, we'll make it a meal. Anything else? Yeah, could I get the mellow yellow to drink? Anything else? Could you throw a side of ranch in there? Anything else? Yeah, we also could use a quarter pounder with cheese meal.
Corey's car and license plate and picture have been framed in there as public enemy number 1, by the way, at the Wadena McDonald's.
And I've told you this before. I like to mispronounce things. I think that's really fun to do. Uh-huh. My favorite is in Dairy Queen to order the Beanut Puster Parfait and switch up the starting letters. It's my favorite thing because no one will ever say anything.
Uh-huh. Except for your wife, who's just going to look at you and want to get out of the car.
She hates it.
Once your kids probably think it's funny now, but once your oldest gets a few years older, he's going to start to like roll his eyes unbelievably at you, and that's when it's all worth it.
They're not quite to the age where they understand what's happening yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm screwing it up because they think it's actually called a bean at Puster Parfait.
So he's going to go one time when he's like 13 and be like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
I've been saying that wrong the whole time. Yes, you have.
You've Mandela affected yourself. Congratulations. One time I went to my brother. I was working fast food for his summer job this year.
I almost ran him over, by the way, one time.
Good. He deserved it. He's a runner. He's supposed to run out of the way. Come on. He couldn't do that.
He scampered right out of the way.
like a deer. Just, you could see the back legs churning, trying to get that jump. And it was his birthday. So I was going to go embarrass him. And I go in there and he's not paying attention to like the camera that they have in the drive-through, because he just answered normally. He's like, "Hi, welcome to Dairy Queen. What can I get for you?" And all I did was go, "Yeah, I'll have and I could just hear him go, "Oh," through the drive-through. It's like, "What do you want?" And all the rules you're supposed to do for a drive-through, he just threw out the window. He's like, "Is that it? Are you done? Come on, hurry up." I had my wife on the phone because she wanted to hear the conversation through the car Bluetooth. She was just laughing.
It's awesome that it worked. That it works that much. Like, your goal was to go there to embarrass him, and you did. I love it.
It worked, and he's an easily embarrassed kind of guy. So that's like, if you mess him up a little bit, he's gonna be like, "Can you get out of here? Can you leave?" Anyway, and then when I went to the window, his manager was right there. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know it was your birthday," and it was like, that's a double objective. I embarrassed him in the moment and for later on in the day.
Yes.
Perfect. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about some breaking Twins news, Corey, that's happening. But before we do that, I do want to mention that we have some special episodes coming of the Morning Sports Desk. We did some state tournament specials.
Yes.
With Sabika and Coach Poole last week. She was great. That interview you did was great. And then we also talked last week with Parkers Prairie head football coach Mike Johnson and Staples-Motley head football coach Drew Potter. We have more because Parkers Prairie and Staples-Motley, Corey, just decide they refuse to lose.
Love everything about it.
When's the last time, by the way, we've had two teams in a state semifinal game on our coverage? Have you ever had that since being here?
Yep. What year was it? United North Central. Was that a semifinal though, or was that a quarter? I think it might have been a semifinal. United North Central and Otter Tail Central.
Okay. Was that when it was at TCF Bank, or was that US Bank Stadium?
UNC was at St. Cloud State.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was a semifinal. It was.
Well, it was kind of weird because there were the years where the Metrodome was blown up and they were still building US Bank Stadium.
Yeah, so it was. I don't remember. I can't remember what year it was, but yes, those were semifinal games. UNC played someone, and OTC played. Maybe it was like UNC played like Pipestone or Minneota, something like that, and OTC played Caledonia. Yeah.
Oh man, my wife took stats for the OTC football team when she was in high school. Mentioned Caledonia around her, and they all just go, ugh, because every time they'd have a nice team and they'd run into the powerhouse Caledonia.
There was. I have a friend who's an assistant coach at Chatfield, which is relevant to this, but there was some of those years where Owen King was the quarterback, and he's like, they're not only the best team in 2A, they would be the best champion. They'd win every 9-man game. They'd win every single A. They've won every double A. They would win every triple A. And he's like, I think they would probably win the 4A state title. That's how good they are. And they obviously were. They were insane.
They rolled. They were such a good program. Yep. And anyway, it's just always unfortunate because OTC would have some nice teams, and it's like, nope, you're done. Sorry, you had a nice run. These guys are just animals. They're going to devour you. It's done.
Yep.
Over. Anyway, if we're going to have more state tournament specials with Coach Potter, we already have it recorded. We have a little more we're going to add to it. More on that will come tomorrow. So expect the state tournament special episode for Staples-Motley to come out tomorrow. Nice. And either tomorrow or Thursday, expect one for Parkers Prairie, because I'm going to interview Coach Johnson a little bit later in the day. today and get that all ready to go and have it put out later in the week.
Cool.
So we appreciate the coaches for their time. Not only will you hear the coaches, by the way, Corey,
Yep.
we also have for Staples-Motley, you will hear every senior on the football team. I asked each of them a question and some answers. All of them were great. They all are great answers. They all are super pumped, as they should be, to get to this next moment. So, and also the interview with Coach Potter, he was great. So all that stuff is coming. Be ready for it later.
Shout out the morning sports desk for putting in the work,
Yeah, those guys, they look like clowns on the surface, but those morning sports desk guys, they just, they put out the effort. When
you hear that Quick Trip?
You hear that? I could use a quick rib if you want, anytime. So there's that. Also, by the way, find our full broadcast schedule online at WadenaRadio.com. Always good to follow the Cow, Sports Cow, on Facebook. Moo, indeed, and find stuff there for all of the local sports coverage.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Breaking Twins news that happened. It was announced just a little bit ago. Our guy Zeke, being the Adam Schefter of our text thread.
Yeah, you broke the news.
Breaking the news, letting us know what's happening. According to Dan Hayes of The Athletic, covers the Twins there, he said Dave St. Peter, the Twins president of the business side of the team, is stepping down and moving to an advisory role, which basically means he's just stepping down and he'll kind of be in meetings and he'll have an office, but in no managerial role. Derek Falvey is being named the team president.
Okay.
He'll continue to handle baseball operations while adding business duties.
Okay.
Jeremy Zoll, who is in the Twins organization already, is replacing Thad Levine as general manager. This is interesting. I think, Dave St. Peter, you ask Twins fans about it and you get kind of weird responses, because he obviously controls the business side of things, and the Twins on the business side of things have made some interesting decisions, and it's always been kind of murky with the role of the fan base, whatever. Him stepping down is fine. He's been there for 2 decades. I think everybody kind of expected him to step down soon with the incoming ownership sale, eventual ownership sale. So this is kind of this is interesting. But it's interesting that Derek Falvey is the guy to take that mantle, at least in the short term, who's running the baseball operations side and now will be heading up the business side. And a commenter asks in this tweet thread, is there a precedent around the league for split baseball ops and business roles like this? And Dan Hayes said Matt Silverman and Mark Shapiro have been in these roles for a long time in other organizations. I believe Mark Shapiro runs the Blue Jays or something like that. I can't remember. There's a couple other organizations that do it. There's another one in here. Given the uncertainty of the Twins, is Falvey's willingness to take that role, a role that could be replaced under new ownership, an indication that he believes the sale in the near future isn't guaranteed. And then Dan Hayes said, it's not an indication of anything sale related. It's a gamble, but they want to show the new owner that they have a plan in place. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why Falvey is taking this, is because it's like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of putting it like, hey, new guy coming in, there's a clear path for you here. There's some stuff in place. And also, wink, if you want to get rid of him, whatever. But if you're Derek Falvey, this also could give you some job security in the sense of that the organization wants you to handle president and baseball operations. So for people thinking that Derek Falvey's on thin ice of getting fired based on the Twins finish to end last year, that's probably not true. The Twins, the Pohlads don't really fire anybody anyways. And especially with the sale coming, that probably won't happen for 12 months or within 12 months. It's not going to happen overnight. Even if a sale is announced, the process of doing it, as we've learned with the Wolves, can take a while. But this is just does it mean much for the 2025 Minnesota Twins? Probably not, but kind of in the back end of things, as an ownership change is going on and all that stuff, this is an interesting move for the organization, Corey.
Well, my question was going to be, and I guess you kind of answered it, is does this have anything to do with the upcoming sale? But more than anything, it really just seems like this is the Pohlads making sure their ducks are in a row. That's all this is. We've got people, because honestly, the thing that a lot of times owners want to be able to make these moves and have an impact on their organization. So something like Dave St. Peter stepping down maybe doesn't come as a surprise. It's the promotion or realignment, whatever you want to use, of Derek Falvey and Jeremy Zoll, however you say it, into their new roles. Like, that part is a little surprising, because I think owners like to meddle a little bit, and meddle is too strong of a word, but they want to have their impact. So does that
bring in their guys?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I don't know. Maybe this is a matter of ducks in a row. So that way, when it comes to the sale and potential bidders, and you'd have to assume there are a few out there right now, even though it's pretty quiet on that front. But maybe these people want, like, hey, is your organization in shambles because the product you put on the field hasn't been good? But we want to know that what's happening behind the scenes is in place.
We want to make sure that we don't have to do a total cleanup. Yeah. So
I get the idea of just wanting to have lots of businesses do that. It's not just sports teams. Businesses, they align things up to give it the appearance of organization, and then they sell it, and they can run away from it, and it's up to the other person to figure out what they want to do with it.
Right. When I worked at the TV station in Duluth, they were in the process, when I was hired, of selling the business. And I think they officially put the business up for sale like within 6 months of me working there. Me working there's not that relevant, but it's just the fact of, you notice things like COVID hit, obviously. And when people left for new jobs, they just didn't hire. And one of the reasons they would claim, oh, COVID, we're just trying to make sure money, whatever. They were getting ready to sell, and they wanted to make the books as clean as possible for a new person to come in and buy. And showing that you don't have bloated expenses is a good way to sell a business. And that's what they were doing. And there were some other things here and there, but a majority, like, reluctance of them to spend money, reluctance to give raises, reluctance to whatever. And that's what normal businesses do. And for the Twins, they cut payroll by $30 million because of the TV deal, sure. But also, they probably knew in their heart of hearts they were going to sell the team in the near future. And why not keep the payroll low? So the new owner comes in and goes, wait, I have to commit to a $250 million payroll? Or, oh, I only have to commit to a $130 million.
Yeah, it's probably more just a redelegation of responsibilities.
Right. And the thing about Derek Falvey is, I think, would a new owner come in, and some owners want to come in and completely shake house and completely do it. Some do it slowly. Some will be like, all right, I'm going to come in, I'm going to be here for a couple of years, and I'm going to, first of all, figure out how to own a baseball team. And once I figure out how to do that, now I'm going to start to push out the people I want to. Like, you have to take inventory of everything that's going on. You don't just come in and go, fired, you're in. Like, it's typically a process. And the fact that Falvey is there, you could theoretically go, okay, Derek, thanks for holding down the fort. I'm in charge now. You can go back to being president of baseball ops, and I'm going to hire in my new president. Falvey could just be, they didn't say interim, but this could just be hey, this guy's going to do both for now. And if you want somebody else, like, it's pretty easy to just slide him back into baseball ops and this other guy to take over on the business side of things.
Yep.
So Dave St. Peter will leave a weird legacy because, again, like, he was fine overall as a team president. I don't think you can look at him and say abject failure. You just are the head of a business, and sometimes you have to be the guy to take the fall on your sword for things that ownership wants or does, and you can't really have a say in it, but you have to be the guy to go out there and get beat by the local media or whatever, or have your name on quotes that you probably don't want to have out there, but you have to say, and things like that. He's going to leave a interesting legacy, I think, in Twins territory, but also he was the guy who presided under the team as they won Central titles, and they built Target Field, and they did some of this other stuff. So it'll be interesting. I don't think people really care, though. But I'm going to be honest. It's the team president. Ask most fans who Dave St. Peter is, and they go, who? Huh?
No one cares.
Yeah.
Anybody who cares a little bit understands that he's the one who's got to settle the books for the people who don't want to spend the money.
Right.
No one cares. Like, no, who did you send out a congratulations tweet to the president of the Los Angeles Dodgers?
No one cares. No
offense, Dave St. Peter. You did fine work, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. So with that, it's just interesting that Derek Falvey now is going to move into that role. So it'll be interesting to see if he will still have final say on players, and he's still the guy who signs contracts and all that. But it'll be interesting because we knew what Thad Levine's kind of role. He was the number 2, and he, especially early on when Falvey was hired in 2016, he was very instrumental in like just kind of holding his hand, for lack of a better term. And like that guy's just had a lot of experience running a front office or being a number 2 in a front office and seeing how front offices are run. Derek Falvey was like 5th in command in Cleveland when he got hired. So he was not like super high up on the totem pole. So it was his job to kind of show him along. Now that he's gone and he's kind of outgrown his need at Target Field, it'll be interesting to see how much Zoll gets. Is Zoll going to do a lot of negotiations? Is Zoll going to do a lot of, how is that flow chart going to work kind of in the hierarchy? Is Falvey going to have to relinquish some stuff, or is he taking more on his plate? It'll be fascinating to see. We won't really know until things start coming through over the next.
You won't know until new owners take over.
Right. And we won't really know until a free agent gets signed, and good luck if the Twins are going to be doing any of that.
Signing a free agent
this winter.
A guy for a year for $3 million. That's what they'll do.
Well, they don't have $3 million right now, according to them. So
$1.5 million then. Whatever that's who they're gonna, right?
Their books are stuck right now. They are, because of arbitration and guys getting raises that are already on the books, they will have to trade somebody to clear payroll.
Yep.
Even though Kepler's leaving and Santana's leaving and some of these other guys. Yep. Somebody's getting traded.
Makes it an easy job the next year for those guys.
Right. So there you go. All right. I think that does it for us. This has been the Morning Sports Desk. We'll catch you next time.
The Morning Sports Desk, available on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and WadenaRadio.com.